We're back at the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center in the Dalles, where many of the birds from the Rowena Wildlife Clinic find a permanent home as educational birds. They give live shows of Birds on the Glove here at 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now, one of the birds we saw is the peregrine falcon, which is on the endangered species list back in the 1970s. It was taken off in 1999. But the peregrine falcon is still considered sensitive. It's protected by both the states because there are only 15 known nests here in the Columbia River Gorge.
So this is Bud. He is our peregrine falcon, and Bud is the fastest animal in the world. He can do what we call a stoop dive at over 240 miles an hour. So you can see his injury is a left wing. His left wing is droopier than his right. And so that's perhaps how he got his injury, was the way that he hunts. So he does this, he's up flying high, looking for lunch, and he typically eats small to medium-sized birds. And he's getting hungry, so it looks like lunch down below him. So he beats his wings a couple of times, goes into this aerodynamic position, and heads for that bird at, like I say, it's been clocked at over 240 miles an hour. He'll hit the bird with his balled up fist. He can actually kill it in the air or stun it, and then he'll follow it down to the ground. If it's still alive, he can insert that very sharp little pointy beak between the vertebrae of the neck and sever the spinal cord, and then it's lunch. And so if he was hunting and perhaps the bird moved on him and he hit it wrong, that could have been how he injured that left wing. And so he's not been able to be 100% rehabilitated. And so we have the birds here at the Discovery Center under a special use permit by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to use them for educational birds. So you get to see the birds up close and personal.
We watched as Bud even cooperated when a visitor wanted a photo op with the bird. Next, the crowd was introduced to the only bird with its eyes in the front of its head.
So this is Josephine. Yeah, Josephine is our great horned owl. And can you see, if you get close enough, can you see she has a crack in the lower quadrant of her right eye there? So as soon as she turns back around, and of course that's the most often question is, can she turn her head all the way around? Look how far she can turn her head around. So can you see it now? Okay, so she was found alongside the road, injured, and so she was taken up to the Rowena Wildlife Clinic, where the veterinarian does take in injured and orphaned wildlife. And she was determined to have that eye injury, hence the crack in her eye. And also sometimes she acts a little goofy, so we think maybe she had somewhat of a head injury too. But look how far she can turn that head around. She actually can turn her head 270 degrees around, so like 3/4 of a full circle. And that's partly because they have 14 vertebrae in their neck. Mammals have 7, you and I have 7. And so they have 14, gives them quite a bit of flexibility there.
Great horned owls are known as the bulldog of the forest, since these birds can eat up to 250 other types of animals. The northern spotted owl is on the endangered list in the Northwest due in part to these owls, who are its main predator. The last bird presented at the Discovery Center was Hank, a male American kestrel.
Oh, somebody had taken this bird to be used as a falcon bird, and so and then taken from the nest. So he was removed as a nestling from the nest, but then they had to move, so they couldn't continue to keep him, and so then we were able to get him into the program. So he does not have an injury, but he is imprinted on people. And since we feed him all the time, if he were out in the wild, then he would go to people looking for food. So, so it's almost as bad to be imprinted as to be injured as far as survival in the wild.
Besides showing these demonstration birds Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 11 a.m. at the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center in the Dalles, raptor programs are also available for scheduled public programs, visiting school groups, tour groups, and through virtual field trips via video conference and outreach. For pricing and availability, go online at gorgediscovery.org. There's also an annual fundraiser in the fall at the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center for the Rowena Wildlife Clinic. Look online at rowenawildlifeclinic.org for their annual benefit concert and silent auction featuring the live demonstration birds. A reasonably priced admission includes music, appetizers, and dessert, with reduced prices for seniors and children. You can symbolically adopt a raptor here at the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center. Sponsoring something like the peregrine falcon runs around $35 a month for care and feeding, and a bald eagle up to $125 a month. Any amount of donation is welcome for any of the birds, and you can even just drop a few dollars here in the box. Well, stay with us when Making a Difference continues. Dr. Jean Seifer hands me the glove for the release of a red-tailed hawk.